Mexico defeats the United States 2-1 in the Gold Cup final. It is Mexico's 10th Gold Cup all-time, back-to-back campeones with a Nations League in between. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down everything that I saw in the final for both sides. For those of you who don't know, I was actually at the game in person. It was my first Mexico versus USA game live, and it did not disappoint, probably because I'm not a USA fan. If I was a USA fan, like my friends were who went to the game, shout out to y'all, they were extremely disappointed. I would say borderline furious, actually. And I think every USA fan has the right to be furious right now. Not because the United States lost, because they were always supposed to lose. Again, anybody who said that USA were the favorites or this was a evenly matched game, you're a moron. Mexico were always the heavy favorites. And I think the performance in the final mirrored that. Just some of y'all don't really watch the games and try to act like a tactico online. It's honestly embarrassing. Y'all have to forgive me. I kind of lost my voice a little bit yesterday from yelling so much. I'm really not in a bad mood. I just can't talk. Before I go any further in this video, I have to ask you guys to please smash the like button and comment your biggest takeaway, either from Mexico, USA, CONCACAF as a whole, the Gold Cup overall, down below in the comments. And if you guys don't want to miss more videos about CONCACAF teams, because I will be dropping a separate video all about Mexico, I'll be dropping a separate video all about the U.S. men's national team. I'll be dropping a separate video about the winners and losers from the Gold Cup overall, probably some other stuff. Hit subscribe, man. There's so much CONCACAF content here. Like, I don't know what more y'all want from me. I'm just one man dropping banger after banger on YouTube. And all I ask in return is for y'all to take 3 seconds, hit a thumbs up button, and comment like, "Jack, you look great today," down below in the comments. It's really not a big ask. Anyways, let's get into the final now. I feel like my predictions for this completely cooked, both on the video on the channel, but also what I filmed with Filippo on Tactical Manager. I said that if Raul Jimenez scores, Mexico are going to win this game. That prediction aged pretty well. I also said that if the United States were going to win this game, one of two things needed to happen. Either A, Mexico needed to get a red card and go down to 10 men, or the United States had to win the set-piece battle. And you know what? In the 4th minute, via Chris Richards, it looked like they were going to. And I was sitting back in my seat thinking, God damn it, this is the worst thing that could possibly have happened. And then all the terrible thoughts enter my head of like, if the United States actually win this game, this is so bad for Mexico. Twitter's going to be on fire. God, I have to watch so many content creators just talk so much shite online, and I was really not ready for it. Fortunately, though, Pochettino and the USA did not disappoint me, and they reverted to their same uninspiring selves for the rest of the game. Look, did Mexico dominate this game? I think so, but I would say dominate with the lowercase d. The reason I'm going lowercase is because I don't think the USA conceded a bunch of great chances, and actually from a defensive standpoint, it was a decent showing from the USA. But offensively, my God. Tickets to that game were not cheap, man, and I feel bad for every single USA fan that had to pay money, hundreds of dollars, to watch that performance. I mean, the set-piece goal is great. What about from open play? There was genuinely nothing, guys. The best chance from open play was what? The Max Arfsten shot from outside the box, which I'll admit did look very close and very scary live in person, or the Tim Ream long ball chance to Ajimong, which just a freaking moment of appreciation for Tim Ream. What a ball that was. Fortunately for me, Ajimong is just not a good striker and fluffed the chance. Outside of that, it was all Mexico for all 90 minutes. And I hate to do this, but I have to address this briefly. The handball shouts, y'all have no shame, do you? The fact I'm seeing more screenshots of the handball online than I am posts ripping Mauricio Pochettino for doing a terrible job all tournament is crazy to me. Firstly, literally, by the letter of the law, that's not a penalty. So as much as you guys want to cry about that, it's not a penalty. Legally speaking, it is not a penalty. Do I need to say that again for any of you? It's not a penalty. I don't care what it looks like. It's not a penalty. Second, Max Arfsten tries to dribble 2 Mexican players. Jorge Sanchez drops to a knee. It's a pretty good tackle. And then he falls on the ball. But guess what? No American player is close to the ball. If Jorge Sanchez doesn't fall, guess what? He's just going to take a dribble because he's uncontested. The way some of y'all are talking about this moment, you would think Malik Tillman was rushing in to, put a banger top left corner. No, there's no American player close to the ball. So it's not a penalty by definition. Play is not affected. There was no advantage awarded to Mexico. So why are you guys still talking about it? It is so pathetic, y'all. Jesus Christ, people talk about the death of chivalry in the West. How about the death of accountability? Why are more people saying, you know what? We sucked today. That's why we we lost. Instead, we're going to point at Jorge Sanchez, who, by the way, is my least favorite player arguably ever in the history of the Selección. So actually, I probably had a vested interest in that handball getting called. Why? Because then I get to upload a 20-minute rant video about Jorge Sanchez, calling him a tronco, calling him one of the worst players I've ever seen, dragging his name through the mud, and I probably would have done hella views. And I also see comments online like, if that happened in Mexico, you'd be crying. Can you stop it? Shout out to my boys Greg and Marcos. As soon as that happened, I turned to them and I said, if that happened the other way, play on. Like, is this how y'all want to win a Gold Cup? It's pathetic. I don't want to win a Gold Cup like that. And before you say, oh, it's easy for you to say, how about you do this? How about you go watch my reaction in the Nations League final when Jose Cordoba has a handball and Mexico win in the 89th minute or whatever it was. You can see the lack of excitement all over my face. I even say in the stream, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to win like this. Now, the difference is, are you ready for this? One was an actual handball, and the other wasn't. So let's stop talking about this. And before you try to throw dirt on my name, at least check the tape. I'm done. For the United States, I think there were very few positives from this game, and certainly no new positives. Chris Richards, the entire tournament, has been a beast. If the USA would have won this thing, I think he's hands down the MVP of the Gold Cup. And he is still hands down the MVP of the US men's national team's Gold Cup campaign. I thought Malik Tillman was also pretty good. Not as good as some people said. I don't think he had a masterclass, but he was doing everything he could. He just didn't have any assistance. And I thought Tim Ream, despite the Raul Jimenez goal, also had a pretty good final. Other than that, I don't really know what the positives are. Now, there are a ton of negatives, and I will be uploading a separate video about that, but first I got to start with the tactics. I thought the U.S. tactics in this game were woeful. I understand that Mexico are the favorite and the more talented team, but I'm being so serious when I say this. Every other team at the Gold Cup, with the exception of Saudi Arabia, gave Mexico more trouble defensively than the United States in the final? To me, that's inexcusable. I mean, if you want to compare how the Dominican Republic attacked versus the United States, you would think it was the Dominicans who were about to host a World Cup, and the Dominicans who are ranked, 20th in the FIFA rankings? Not being, debutantes at the tournament. Suriname made me sweat more watching the game than the U.S. These are unacceptable truths. And I think Pochettino needs to take a ton of blame for this, man. And Pochettino, like I said, this was an L final. Not because you lost, but because of how you lost. Because the fact that the Gold Cup is over and U.S. fans have zero positive takeaways that were not already learned during the group stage. I'm so serious. Comment down below one thing that is a positive takeaway about the USA that was learned during the knockout phase. I mean, don't say Diego Luna, because we knew Diego Luna was good in the group stage and arguably before. Don't you dare say Chris Richards was... No, everybody knew Chris Richards is the best defender for the United States. The fact that in 3 knockout games against Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Mexico, there were no new positive takeaways for a team that is supposed to be experimenting, that is supposed to be finding depth pieces for the World Cup squad, has nothing to show for it, is inexcusable. It was just a wasted opportunity. For Mexico, I thought Cesar Montes was a freaking beast in this final. I've been very critical of Montes. I like him. I just don't think he's as good as many Mexican fans do. But in this final, I thought he was the superior center back. He had 2 or 3 insanely good tackles, one of them very late in the game that kind of saved us. I could really go through most of the 11 and say they had a great game, but Marcel Ruiz is another one. Very strong final. Great assist, Raul Jimenez. And God, guys, I'm just so happy that the Mexican midfield once again has players who are capable and have the balls to play balls like that. I feel like I haven't seen this from a Mexican midfield since Juan Carlos Osorio was in charge. I mean, it's been a minute, and it just felt amazing to watch. And what can I say about Gilberto Mora, dude? 16 years old, a freaking beast. My friends in the stadium could not believe that he was 16 years old, and I think he was the standout player. Now, you're never going to catch me saying he's the Mexican Messi or any of that other crap, but what I will say is this guy is a true wonder kid with insane potential. The difference for me with Mora is that he's actually shown it. A lot of these other Mexican wonder kids, I feel like they're puro hype. They have a couple good games for Liga MX and then people are just simping for them on the timeline. I don't subscribe to any of that. But Gilberto Mora was great in the semifinals, arguably man of the match in that game, might have even been man of the match. and then had such a strong final. And he's going up against Luca De La Torre, Tyler Adams, Malik Tillman. It's not exactly a scrub midfield. I could not be more impressed. And for Javier Aguirre, I feel like I have to take a moment to give props to this man. I was very skeptical of the hiring, and there are parts of me that still are, but I have to admit that he has the buy-in of the fan base. Did I love seeing Jorge Sanchez start the final? No. But you know what? Jorge Sanchez didn't even have a stinker, so let's move on. When was the last time a Mexican manager played new players, new young blood, in a semifinal and a final of a tournament? For example, look at the last Gold Cup. We won that as well, but we didn't really discover any new players. We were playing Orbelin Pineda, we were playing Piojo. Santi Jimenez didn't even start. Think about that. Our European-based player did not even start the 2023 Gold Cup. Versus you look at this campaign, you have Mateo Chavez getting minutes, you have Araujo starting games, you have Mora, the introduction of him into the starting lineup. Marcel Ruiz plays almost every single minute in the tournament. There are way more positive takeaways from a personnel perspective this Gold Cup than the last one. And Aguirre must be given credit for that. And now he's got 2 trophies to his name since he came back. The Gold Cup was probably the lesser important one, but still. I've learned to not take success for granted in this sport because winning trophies are really hard. And I think winning as the favorite is also very difficult. And Aguirre's demonstrated that he can do that twice now. And I think the identity he's instilled in this team is going to be Mexico's bread and butter, Mexico's foundation at the next Mundial. I think that's all I'm going to say about the final. I have more to say about both teams, but now's not the time. So those will be separate videos on the channel. Again, hit subscribe for that and all the other CONCACAF stuff here. I appreciate you guys for sticking around throughout this Gold Cup journey with me. I know the Club World Cup was going on at the same time. That got a lot of the headlines, but I really like this Gold Cup. This is one of my favorite Gold Cups in a long time, probably like 2019, I would say. Like, it's been a moment since I really felt like CONCACAF was cooking a little bit. Like, we had upsets, we had like wonder kids, we had a bunch of surprises and a bunch of disappointments in this tournament. It really kind of delivered from all angles. So yeah, I had a great time. You guys were always awesome jumping in the stream and showing support on every single video. So I really do appreciate that. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button. Make sure you're following me on social media as well. Link in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one.